Broadcasting through the depths of outer space.
Been that
God damn you all to hell!
indeed.
It's the Sci-Fi Podcast.
This is episode 61 of the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. Michael Ball on the show with my good friend, scientific expert of the century, the millennia. He knows things about sci-fi which I could never have even dreamed about. And this is my good friend and co-host, Martin Fowler. Hello, Martin.
Hello. I just bloody coughed.
It's a
I
blow.
don't have COVID. I don't have COVID.
Oh, stop it.
Thank you for the great intro, and of course, the Mr. Scotty of the internet world. May I,
Oh,
Michael Ball?
I'm not sure about it when it comes to setting up Zoom. Before we started recording this, we're faffing around because Martin's used Zoom a lot more than I have, and we're just sort of doing this. It is good, but I couldn't get the video. But I wanted to have the Solar One Sci-Fi ships in the background, but I couldn't do it, so I've got a static planet image, but that'll be fine.
What do you think to doing this like this then? Do you find it all a bit weird?
Yeah, I'm more of an audio guy. I'm always conscious of where my hands are and where I'm looking at. It's like, I'm much more comfortable in audio. I've done audio for nearly 10 years. But it's just that now we're on YouTube and stuff, because the way we do this is the best of both worlds. You can still have the audio file, but you can also have the video file, so we can get a bit more, visual for the YouTube aspects, which is why I do it. So, yeah. So how have you been? Because I apologized last week. I felt a bit off. I had my vaccine.
Yes, you did. Yes.
And but I just felt a bit low last week. We had a death of a guy that we follow on YouTube, which we're going to talk about.
Yes, he's quite well known on the convention circuit as well.
Yeah. So
a lot of my side friends know him.
So
a lot of tributes last week.
Let's go into that. So if that's okay with you, let's talk about.
Yeah, no, that's super duper.
I can't even remember how I got in touch with him. John Adam Jackson is his name, and he's created a load of great Facebook group sites. One of them being the Nightmare Man, which is one of his most well-known ones. And there's a great group of people who contribute on that, and we regularly do. He's always been very kind of letting us share our podcast every week as well, which I really appreciate. And back in January, I heard that I remember him putting up a message, because he's a friend on Facebook as well. I just wish I really could have met him. And I'm sure that it's like you and me, eventually we'll meet up at some point.
Yes.
But, with the world upside down.
2032.
Probably. Anyway, and so he said that he didn't feel well, and of course he said he had a bad taste in his mouth and everything. You hear this from people, and of course it got worse, and eventually he was hospitalised, and he had COVID, which of course was a shock. And the situation just got worse and worse. Then we started hearing from friends and members of his family also telling us, giving us updates. And then I think it was about a couple of weeks ago, he unfortunately passed away. So it's strange because, you hear about people getting COVID, a lot more common now than even a few months ago. But to actually hear about someone who's not old, and as far as I was aware, he didn't have any medical issues, to actually pass away, I found it quite a shock, and it just took the wind out of my sails last week. I just felt like, especially when you're doing it visually, you have to be like, how are you doing, and kind of thing. And we obviously still do that, but I just felt like, no, let's have a week off. And I wanted to sort of put part of this podcast on John Adam Jackson. A really, really nice guy, and like I said, he liked loads of stuff that and he actually, what I liked about the Nightmare Man, which is going to continue, by the way. If people are checking this out, check him out, or check out the Facebook group, the Nightmare Man. Very interesting. Talk about a load of cult films I've never even heard of, like Hammer films or old films of Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee, and I consider myself a person who knows a lot of films, but a lot of this stuff I've never even heard of, and it's also you. I mean, there's a load of films I've never even heard of that you started getting me into and stuff like that. And of course, I got into Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. So You're
Well,
welcome.
You did.
You're
And
welcome.
I got banned by all my friends because they liked it. They did. They liked it, and I
It is
I
funny.
had to,
Yeah, it
I
is
had
strange.
to apologize, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he did a Halloween. Anyway, so John Adam Jackson, he did some wonderful pages on Facebook, and it was really good. I actually offered. I said, "Do you want to come on the show at some point?" And he said that I think he prefers to be sort of more on Facebook rather than being like a YouTuber and the stuff that we've done, because it is hard in some ways just to sit there and chat and chat and chat, because especially with audio, you can't have dead air, and you know this from your radio background. And luckily, I when I need to be, I could be a right chatterbox, which you need to be, and you got to bounce off people.
To be honest, I do prefer like the audio. To be honest,
Yeah, I do as well.
I really do. I feel more comfortable.
Yeah, it is strange, isn't it?
I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. So
got more freedom somehow. I find
it's strange. I mean, I don't know. It's just the mind's eye, the perspective of the person you're listening to as well. I don't know why. It's a bit like reading a book or something. I think there's also a different, rather than watching a video or TV or something. It's strange. It's hard to explain.
That's what I liked about the Nightmare Month Facebook page, because I remember when you posted Megaforce, and there were about 30 people actually supporting the film.
Yes,
you put some really obscure stuff on that page.
Absolutely,
and it was amazing how many people knew about it.
Yeah, the group of people of that, they really know their stuff, and you could put anything up, and somebody will come back and say, "Oh yes, I remember that. Either it was great, it was awful, or I need to see that one." And then of course, what is so? I keep referring to the past tense. It's not. It's going to continue. What is so good about that site is that it will actually encourage you to check out films. I mean, I've got quite a few films I've seen recently because of that Facebook group. So. Like I said, this episode we want to dedicate to John Adam. He was known by his friends as Adam rather than John Adam Jackson, but a really, really terrific guy. He was a porter in a hospital, I think in not Slough, Stoke or somewhere in the Midlands or something, I think it was, which also makes it more poignant, because someone in that environment with this to actually get that and obviously have what happened to him. It makes it even more tragic. I mean, it's tragic anyway, whatever happens.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that basically, we are big supporters of what you've done, and we'll obviously do whatever we can to keep your memory going. And thank you for for having a mindset like we have about certain things, and hopefully. And he was a very spiritual guy, so. If he's into spirituality and life after death and whatever, and maybe he'll be watching this and laughing. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to say, John Adam Jackson, thank you so much. I'm so sorry, and rest in peace, I guess. I don't know. Anything else to say?
I'm gonna put you onto some nasty film actually.
Okay, what's that?
I've discovered it's not a film challenge. I'm just gonna Christopher Lee and Robert Vaughn, Man from U.N.C.L.E., in a space battle movie made in 1977 and alien abductions called Starship Invasions. Check it out. The whole film's on YouTube. All
right.
Christopher Lee in spandex.
Okay, that sounds a bit ominous, doesn't it? Spandex.
And there's intergalactic battles and earthly abductions from back roads.
Right. Okay, that sounds interesting.
And he made this. I don't know. Robert Vaughn's in it. And I'm going to be watching this tonight. I will send you it via Facebook. The film.
There is brilliant. Thank you. Talking about YouTube stuff. There's a guy who actually imports stuff at the moment, and what he's doing, I don't know how he does. It's not perfect, but it's good. He's colorizing old sitcoms, like the early seasons of On the Buses, which are black and white, Steptoe and Son, and a few others. And it's not perfect. But it's really interesting, because there's new software where it really does. It works out the grey levels and it can actually interpret it. And the thing is, the reason I'm giving this a shout out now, even though it's not sci-fi, is that normally when people post whole episodes and series of shows on YouTube, sooner or later they get banned. They get cancelled off normally.
Yeah.
So if you're a big fan of UK sitcoms, Steptoe and Son, the whole series is colorized apart from 3 episodes. He's doing On the Buses at the moment, all those sort of old shows. I love those old shows. comedy is a big
I
fan.
grew
So
up on them,
yeah, me too. So if you want to see those shows in color or sort of color, then I was thinking about messaging and saying, why don't you try and do some of the black and white Doctor Who's? Because that would be, even though it's not perfect, I'd certainly like to see William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton in color, even if it's not perfect. I don't know why I don't respond well to black and white, I have to say.
It depends what it is. I mean, me and my mate, we do this movie drone thing on a Sunday. We watched Shape of Things to Come in colour.
Oh, what was that like? Was that good?
Shape of Things. Yeah, it was the British attempt at equalising Metropolis.
Right.
And it's on Amazon. You can watch it, and it's like setting the destruction of mankind, the future. And I mean, it's really cheesy, but it is really.
But it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's like I saw a colorized version of The Last Man on Earth, which of course was remade.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. It's I've got. I think it might still be there, but it's not bad. And it's like, I don't know why, but I think with things like Doctor Who, for instance, because most of it is colour, and also there's some episodes, like there's a couple of John Pertwee's which haven't survived the colour versions. There was only black and white versions left of some episodes, so I wouldn't mind seeing those in colour, even though it's not perfect. But like I said, I'm hoping that eventually that the way that they do it will improve, and some of these old shows, which I mean, I've seen Lauren Hardy in colour. That doesn't seem right.
I have, yeah.
That seems strange. Lauren Hardy, to me, has to be black and white, which makes it sound weird, but I don't know. It's a strange one. So should we go on to any news? Should we hit that jingle?
We've done quite well for news this week, actually.
Right, let's go. Let's go for the jingle. Here we go.
Working.
Solar Sci-Fi News.
Okay, Martin, go for it. What do you got?
Right, let's. Yeah, they've released the Cruella de Vil trailer.
Oh, okay. What was that like?
What I've seen, it looks all right actually. It's from Hunger Games. Emma Stone. Taking on. It's about the origins of Cruella de Vil.
Right.
And how she becomes evil.
Okay. Did you hear about I was going to say. So when is that going to be made, or actually when is it going to be released? Is it just?
I think it's going to be released in May. I think.
Now, changing the subject, what did you think about the Cara Dune actress from Star Wars getting the sack?
Oh, it's that's.
I mean, I'm not talking about. I mean, we're not going to go political.
You're on about the tweets she came out with about.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, we're going to be careful, because if you dwell too much, then you're going to. But I'm just asking about the opinion generally.
I watched. I mean, for me, I watched. A friend of mine didn't agree with it, which is fair enough. That's their view. I'm sat on the fence with it. I've seen some YouTube commentators on sites that they think it's ridiculous. It's how you interpret it. For me, somebody who's in probably the biggest TV show in the world at the moment, might have been better to keep your mouth shut. Look, I've got no opinion on this. I'm a big believer in free speech, but a lot of people think she didn't say all wrong, and some people do. It's one of them arguments, and I'm not going to get involved in it.
No. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to dwell on it, but I mean, because obviously the actress is called Gina Carano, and But I suppose what you've got to learn is that perhaps in a capacity of being very high in the media's focus, that perhaps that kind of tweet, even though she should be granted the freedom of speech, maybe I think most people in media they learn that there's just things that just places you just don't go, and I think that basically she just thought, well, I'm entitled to say what I think.
But I mean, the question is, if you're on the biggest TV show in the world and your career's that's going to get you to Hollywood.
The fact of the matter is,
you keep your mouth shut, wouldn't you?
I agree. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if she's got the choice of being a huge celebrity and making tons of money and literally being, if she has aspects which might be, like I said, I am going to move very quickly on for this. I'll just very quickly say, determined as politically incorrect or something which is a sensitive subject, don't tweet about it. Don't tweet. Don't ruin your career. It's not worth it. Not worth it. It's absolutely not worth it.
Because
and the thing is, I was going to say I think she was going to be in the Rangers of the New Republic spin-off series. I think she was going to be.
Yeah, there were big plans.
So, and I mean, people are saying now, is she going to be recast by a different actor? Are they just going to drop the character completely? And if they do the Rangers of the New Republic series, well, I mean, they could still bring in their character. But I mean, the thing is also, somebody was saying, well, look, she's only been about 5 episodes of The Mandalorian. She's not like every week.
No.
So, yeah, they could still get away with it, and they've got, obviously, the Kate Sackhoff character. They could do something with her, and they've got the guy from Predator in it as well. So, Carl, is it Carl Withers? What's his name?
Yeah, Apollo Creed, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a shame, but hopefully it will just move on. People are saying that season 3 of The Mandalorian is going to be quite different anyway, but it's all rumour. You can look at rumour.
In the next 4 weeks, what's he coming? We forgot. We'll be on to the next thing. What somebody's saying.
And there's so much Star Wars going on as well. So I mean, I think that, as you say,
there is some good news. Apparently, her action figure is now sold in value.
Has it?
Yeah, because they've got rid of a character. There's no more of her action figure. So apparently, amongst the Star Wars fans, they're all obsessed in getting the figure.
Yeah, it's going to be withheld or something, isn't it? They're going to stop anymore. Yeah. So it's going to be one of those really rare. But isn't that a bit? Isn't that crazy? I mean, they're actually taking away the action figure. She's in Star Wars. Are they going to redo The Mandalorian and actually cut her out from the whole episodes, or what? Like,
I don't know. With today, it's somebody. I had a discussion a couple of weeks ago about physical media.
Right.
And there is a problem. I mean, I've got Blu-rays, but I ain't got like walls full of them,
I have.
Well, I've got a lot, but I've got odds of them.
I've got about 500, but I mean, I've got digital copies of everything, so it's
but what I'm saying with the streaming networks now, they're editing a lot of the older stuff.
I know.
And that's why I won't get rid of my physical media
now. That's exactly why I'm not that big a fan of things like Spotify for audio, because they could take that off. Netflix is good to watch, but if you want to keep stuff, you really need a copy, because in the end, you could have something you love. You can come back to it 2 years later. Someone said something, and whole chunks of a show can be cut out. I mean, you can't have that.
Well, that's what I mean. You can't. It is what it is. It were made at that time or whatever, and it were made. So just leave it. There's no point altering it.
Absolutely.
Some people get offended.
Yeah. So it's like I said, it's a strange time that older shows and things which were considered acceptable even 20 years ago aren't now. And I personally think that although I do concede that these things are incorrect compared to now, but surely they still have a right to be an existence of how the world used to be, as a shadow, as an example of how we've moved on from stuff to hopefully better things. I don't know. It's a bit of a confusing one, but there we go.
Well, I don't know how you're going to take this bit of news. I don't know what to make of this, but it's Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is still happening.
I heard about that. No, I don't believe that. I don't.
This is in Film Magazine. I mean, they're quite credible.
But he's loathed by the Star Wars community.
The Star Wars trilogy from Rian Johnson is still in the works. It's been confirmed.
Well, I'm very surprised.
Unless it's like for a game or something.
Well, surely they've got about 3 films coming up. They've got about 15 TV series. I mean, I'm not disputing what you're saying. I agree that it's from a good source.
Film Magazine. That's quite a credible source.
Yeah, I know, and you're absolutely right. Fair enough for sort of reporting it, but I don't know. Let's just say, I mean, in the end, there's so much new Star Wars coming along that some of it's going to be good, some of it's probably going to be a bit shite, probably. I hope that for the most part it's going to be good. It's still very exciting. I mean, I'm more excited about Star Wars than just about anything else at the moment, quite frankly. I'm just sitting here waiting for it to come on.
I lost the article on Portsmouth, which I found with a science fiction.
What?
No, I've just lost it now. Yeah.
No. Science fiction doesn't exist in Portsmouth. It's just
It does.
Pompey.
Apparently, you've got a secret network of tunnels, which I read it today
What do you
because it
mean?
came up.
Secret
I'm not.
what?
I've just lost the bloody thing.
Oh,
now.
what?
Hang on.
You got to prove it now. You got to prove it.
Oh, I am gonna have to prove it
Secret
now.
tunnels. Why would there be?
There's. I can't believe this. Because I'm getting rid of Star Wars.
Is it because it's?
There is in Portsmouth. There's a secret network of tunnels under Portsmouth.
Okay.
The Russians during the Cold War were quite concerned about it. There was something like that. There might be a bunker down there. I don't know, but it's all happening in Portsmouth.
So it could be under my
Not
house
a secret.
then.
It could be. There could be 5,000 people living under your house right now. And one day you'll be watching telly, there'll be an elevator.
And
coming
suddenly,
into
like,
the room.
suddenly there's sort of like, I don't know, like a pneumatic drill comes up out of my floor, and someone sticks his head through the rubble or something. Like Tilk when he was trying to get through the hole in the episode where the Stargate gets buried. And remember, he's like that.
Do you remember Men in Black 2 when they went round to that family's house and stunned them and the wall opened up? They had all the guns and the family didn't have a clue.
So they could be like a whole treasure trove of machine guns and all sorts of military and secret Russian spies and
all got in Portsmouth.
And they're all under my house.
All under your house.
Okay.
Star Trek Strange New Worlds due to start filming at CBS Studios in Canada this week.
Brilliant. Okay. I have to say, given my experience of Discovery and Picard, I am very guarded, but I still think that this is the best chance of Star Trek coming back. So bring it on. Yeah. Bring it on. I just hope that they get some good writers.
More Trek news, and this is from it's 3 days ago, and it's from a website called We Got This Covered. Now I don't know if they're real or not, but Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek movie reportedly moving forward with Chris Pine.
Yeah, this has been sort of up and down, hasn't it? Because from one point it's going to be a Chris Pine film, and then the Quentin Tarantino film is going to be a Star Trek film, but it's going to be not involving the Kelvin Universe crew. So now it sounds like Pine is... I don't mind the Kelvin Universe as standalone films. I've actually liked them a lot more than, say, the Discovery series or the Picard series, because they're not proper Star Trek, but they're good action flicks. I mean, the Khan in the second one was ridiculous because of the way they used it from the Wrath of Khan and stuff like that. But I don't mind. I mean, I can't remember what you said about the Kelvin Universe. Are you okay with them? Do you hate them?
I did. To be honest, I like Zachary Quinto Kirk and the guy who played I thought the chemistry between the three of them was amazing. I didn't mind the first movie. I didn't like what they'd done to the ship, and I thought the second movie was diabolical. It really was. I mean, there were no way if that was just a rip-off. And the third movie was better.
Yeah, that was the best one, I think.
I think that was the best one. But I never really gelled with it, really.
Yeah, I mean, Into Darkness had a lot of problems. But, it's obviously Discovery, as a ship, they've changed that during the season as well. So, I'm not sure about these nacelles, which actually floats away from the ship. I can't remember if we talked about it before, but that seemed a bit weird. But I don't mind. I mean, I would go and see a Kelvin Universe Star Trek film.
Yeah, of course, I will.
I would definitely go and see it.
Yeah.
Now, WandaVision, how are you finding that? 'Cause you know a lot more about the universe than I do.
Don't get me started on WandaVision. I can't get enough of it.
You like it? I mean, I thought you would, because this is all your stuff. I'm enjoying it, even though I don't really get all the.
Just watch Avengers: Age of Ultron.
I'll try. I will.
You won't watch it.
I will. I've watched the first one. But I'm not.
Just watch Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Okay. Marvel Virgin is back.
Yes. You're half a Marvel Virgin.
So I've lost half a cherry in the last year.
Yes.
Okay, so it's half there. Okay, that's good. That's
but you need to watch Avengers: Age of Ultron. And
is that the one after the first
Avengers? No, it's the second one, and you need to watch the third one as well.
So they made 3 of these Avenger things, right? They made 3.
Four.
They made 4. Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
I watched the first one.
Well, then, well, if you watch the third, if you watch the second and third, you'll get the full Vision and Wonder thing. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them in that, actually. So
Yeah,
it must be
well-
strange you seeing them from the film, then they're on a TV series in this weird sitcom. It
Yeah,
must
it
be
is, yeah.
strange. I mean, I like it because it's surreal. It does appeal. It doesn't strike me as a Marvel norm, as we talked about before.
No, but I think Marvel's going a lot this way now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, that sort of stuff I like. So yeah, all right, I'll do that. I will. As a co-host, I would do it.
More Star Trek news.
Go for it.
The return of Jonathan Archer.
How can they get him in the series at one
I
point?
don't know, but he's coming back.
So is he going to be in Discovery? Well, I assume he would have to be in
He
Picard.
better not be bloody Discovery.
Well, unless he's frozen in a block of ice or something. I mean, or like that what's that thing that Han Solo was in episode in The Empire Strikes Back? Carbon freeze or something. I mean, are they going to get him into one of these other series?
Well, he's going to be in Discovery. He's going to be in Strange New Worlds.
Oh, well, he could be in that. He'd be old, though.
He'd be very old.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
So.
possible, yeah, because they live longer, don't they?
Yeah.
I think the life's been extended to about.
I thought the
150
life.
years,
I thought the life expanded more in the 24th century than the 23rd.
Yeah,
But
but
McCoy was old. He made
they
it
were
to.
180. weren't
So
they?
was Scotty was in he was in a transport buffer, so he didn't age normally.
No.
Spock did because he's a Vulcan,
Yeah.
and we don't know about any of the others in canon. So yeah, I suppose it's possible.
Well-
I mean, I'd love to see him. I mean,
There is another twist to this. Do you remember Enterprise? Do you remember Time Travel guy?
Oh,
Him
what's his name?
that-
Daniels.
No, you know him that gave the Suliban the commands.
Oh yeah, I can't think of that. Yeah, I don't know what you mean.
Well, apparently, according to the writers of the series, the twist was you never saw him; you just saw an outline. That was Archer.
Yeah. Oh, but he didn't
I
sound
don't know
like
how they'll
Archer. He looked
I
more
know,
like a
but-
Vulcan or something.
Well, I always thought he was a Romulan, actually.
Yeah,
But
I meant
apparently it was
yeah,
Archer.
yeah,
It was Archer, yeah.
maybe.
Well, it's rumored Time guy, yeah. I don't know. It's what the writers said. It was going to be the big, but they lost the plot with Temple Cold War. Well,
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the worst things about Enterprise, all that sort of temporal Cold War stuff.
Yeah.
It got a bit stupid, but let's check it out. Let's see what happens. That's pretty good. Any other news?
It was quite, cinemas are now hiring out their screens to gamers.
Oh,
BBC News, yeah, BBC News.
so how will they do it? So you're gonna get like what? They're gonna play
Well, I don't know.
Pac-Man on the screen.
I
Pac-Man on the
suppose,
screen.
yeah. As the sound cut is put, apparently a 25-year-old student has been sat in a cinema playing video games on screens, and the cinemas are now thinking, with many cinemas across due to the coronavirus situation, mean that can only open with 50% capacity and far fewer movies being released. To tempt teenagers, CJ came up with the idea of renting out its auditoriums to gamers to bring in a new revenue stream.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Well, let's just see. I mean, like I said, if it's a way that they can actually get the cinemas to be used in some capacity, then why not? I think that's a good idea. Brilliant. Let's bring it on.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Cool.
They're doing Face Off. Have you ever seen Face Off with John Travolta?
I've got it. I keep meaning to see it. I'd like to see it. It looks
Well,
good.
they're doing a direct sequel. And it
Is
science
it good?
fiction.
Is yeah, I know. Is it? Do you like Face Off yourself?
Yeah, I like Face Off. I thought it was really good, actually.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
John Travolta were always superb as the bad.
Yeah, I like John. I liked him in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I do.
Pulp Fiction's good film. I know it's not sci-fi, but I thought it was good in that. I even quite like Grease. I'm not a musical fan, but I thought Grease was actually a really good film, even though I don't like hardly any musicals at all. But I never see it. What was that film he was in? It was a sci-fi film, and everyone Battlefield Earth.
God,
What was it
we're
called?
gonna have to do that, not that. You mean Battlefield Earth?
Yeah.
That
Have you
is-
seen it? I've not seen that.
Oh God, yeah, it's one of the worst films ever made.
Is it?
You think Dr. Moreau's bad? Which Dr. Moreau, it's been said it's one of the worst films ever made.
I'm going to check it out for next week.
Battlefield Earth is up there with it. Do you know, I was going to... Actually, that would make a good film challenge of the week, that would.
Oh, well, I wouldn't mind checking them out. All right, so let's do Dr. Moreau.
Check it out. It's to do with that religion he's into. What is it? Dianetics.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Scientology space battle movie.
Okay. All right, I've not seen that one. Yeah, okay, let's give that a go. So if we do Dr. Moreau, if Tom's back next week, and then we can do Battlefield Earth. So I wouldn't mind checking that out. And if I I will. Although one film which there's a few films in sci-fi which I've not got into. Other films I've not got into is The Fifth Element. I never got into that. No, and Dune. I've never been a fan of Dune. I know that I'm interested in the new ones coming out, but the original Dune, and I think Patrick Stewart's in it, and so is I think Cole McLaughlin's in it. Did you like Dune? I just find it
I watched the first one a couple of weeks ago. I've got the mini series actually.
I've not seen. Actually, we have talked about this before. So, but I didn't get into the original Dune at all. I really didn't.
No, Dune's a lot to take in. It can, but some people can find it rather dull.
Yeah, it's like The Expanse. When I watched the first few of those, I thought I'm not sure about this. And then once you suddenly click with that, with the three elements of that series, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Well, I watched. So we're gonna have to do a show on that. I watched it. I could not. I've watched it all again. It was interesting.
Did you like it? Did you like the end of season 5?
I liked it. It went in a very interesting way. It wasn't like the last series full of action.
I think it was. What about
very character driven?
Yeah, I mean, it was because I thought they were going to be exploring more of the obviously portal to these other planets and stuff, and they didn't. And the blue particle wasn't really functioning much in the series. What about Alex dying the way he died at the end?
Isn't that a move being noticed? Is that the one who got?
Yeah. Because they just couldn't.
I was gutted because because the thing is with that, I'd not seen it since the last series, and I've waited for 10 weeks. And when I started watching it, it was like I was back with old friends again.
Yes, yeah.
That's what I felt.
Because you saved it up, didn't you?
You've got to catch because you forget and. Suddenly by episode 1 you're like, bloody hell, I remember all that now.
Yeah.
And it's just going on. Amos is my favourite character. I like Amos.
Okay, yeah. I like most of them actually. I think they're all pretty cool.
I thought when she went looking for the sun and she threw herself out of that.
She's one of my favourite characters. I think she's great. She really is. I mean, what's the name? I can't remember the name. What's the character name?
I forgot now.
Yeah, I did as well. I didn't want to admit it because I thought I can't remember her name, even though I kept hearing it. She's one of my favourite characters, but
this series,
she was brilliant, fantastic.
I think what they were doing, they went in for more. Let's find out a bit more about it, because James Holden, who's the main character, he was held back quite a lot this season.
Yeah.
And it was all about the other character, and I loved it. At first, I thought, I wanted to get through Rings, but then suddenly,
that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
By episode 2, I couldn't turn it off. I was so hooked, and the.
Well, you binged it. You binged it. Yeah, I watched it once a week, and then you said, "Right, last episode, right, I'm gonna watch the whole lot." And you watched it. I'm assuming in a very short period of time.
You've got to binge that. You've got to.
Yeah, I couldn't wait. Though I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait. That's the problem. I respect the fact that you waited. I just thought, no, I've got to.
It was frustrating on Amazon, gritting my teeth, because they were like, when there were like 7 episodes up on Amazon, I thought I could just watch 7 episodes, and I thought, no, I'm holding on, and I watched it, and I couldn't turn it off. But they set up the next season because the Admiral's the new, because the terrorist guy, that Admiral's using him.
Yeah.
There's a big thing going on.
What was that thing at the end? What was that ship at the end? That alien ship that was in the end credits?
I don't know. Well, I think they're waking up, whatever they are, because they wiped out that civilization overnight.
Yes, that's right. And I think it's all going to kick off next season. Brilliant. I can't wait. But look, we've got to move on because I'm not sure how long this recording thing on this thing, because it's limited time. So unless there's anything else really.
No, that's all the news this week.
All right, let's go into our focus of the week. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi
focus of the week.
All right, so this week we were going to feature this with Tom, but that's fine. We can talk about it with Tom next time. A film which has parallels with the Orville, and it also has, well, it's a comedy and science fiction, but not Red Dwarf, but it's not like Red Dwarf. And of course, that is Galaxy Quest, which is a film which I really liked. Tell me about what you thought of Galaxy Quest when you saw it.
I think it's awesome. I watched
You like it?
I watched it over Christmas. Yeah, it's just a marvelous film.
Very good production. It's I love the fact that, you know, it is taking the piss a bit out of us science fiction fans a bit. I don't mind that. I don't mind it because it's done in a funny kind of, like, you know, it's in a funny way, but not in an offensive way. Yeah, I thought it was good. And I mean, of course, you've been to a lot more conventions than I have as well, so I suppose that you get the appeal of it, even though, of course, their characters on this film, they dressed up as the characters on the show, whereas, of course, in real life, the actors don't. They just come as themselves, don't they?
Yeah. The scene that got me in that film, because he is such a wanker at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, the commander, is when he's in the toilet and there's them two fans that slag him off.
Yeah.
Going on about he can't get a job and this is all they do for a living. And you saw that moment, and I really felt for him.
Yeah.
You know, because he is a horrible bloody person. He is really. It's all about him. But that's all he's got. Is that show. That's it. And the character development, and they just put it together beautifully. All of it works. Sigourney Weaver with
Sigourney Weaver of all
out
people.
and repeating everything the computer says, and him just being an all-round hero, like trying to live it. And then, of course, Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman was brilliant. He was the funniest of the lot. He was really good in that role. By Granthar's hammer, you shall be avenged, or whatever it is.
Don't.
Yeah. I love the bit when he's signing the forms and stuff, and he just sort of snatches it off this fan and just a squiggle and just throws it to him, and kind of thing like that.
I like the engineer. I like the engineer guy. He's so laid back.
Yes.
Nothing phases him at all.
Because that actor's, he's married to Brooke Adams, who, of course, is in a lot of films. And I thought to myself, it's funny how you sort of see who people are married to. Because I always quite like Brooke Adams, especially in the Raging Body Snatchers. And, of course, they're married in real life. And I think they've been married for about 30 or 40 years or something. But as you say, he wasn't a big character in that, but he was just like, I don't care. I used to sit eating his crisps or something, where like the engineering's falling apart, and he couldn't care less. He just thought it was as a ride. He just sort of had a laugh with it, and he just sort of like.
The scene I like is when they sent Tim Allen back to Earth, and he stands on that transporter and you feel that
the
moment
terror,
when
absolutely.
the universe is opened up to him on that, you know, that experience, and you feel it with him. That's what I loved. And he's like, my God, what's going on? You know, the universe.
Yeah, that was funny.
But the engineer guy, when they beam him up to shit, he's not even phased by it. He's like, wow.
He just saw like, oh, this is cool. It was really funny. It was good. I like also the bit where he arrives in the ship before he realizes that he thinks this is a really cool set. This is actually really quite good. And he's looking around like, God, they must have put a lot of money to make this bridge look like this, and and I like the aliens, sort of like who they just see them as. It's very clever because, of course, an alien's perspective, that they see these transmissions and they think they're a real log of what's happened. Of course, it's just a TV show, and of course, they don't understand what a TV show is. I mean, did they? I mean, do you think they could have made a sequel to?
There were rumours for years, but Tim Allen come out recently. Amazon were going to do a couple of years ago. Apparently, there's an exemplary second script.
Really?
And it's meant to be very good, yeah. But Alan Rickman died, so I don't.
Oh, so you think that's why? Oh, okay. I mean, do you think it could ever be made as a TV series?
I don't know.
I mean,
I think that window's long gone now.
I also think that that particular aspect has been taken up by the Orville as well, because the Orville does have some parallels with Galaxy Quest in some ways.
Sometimes you create a certain film, and it's very rare when you can create a decent sequel to it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's funny. I mean,
very rare.
when I watched the Orville, for instance, I really did think it was just like Galaxy Quest, but now I've watched it, it's not. It's actually quite different. It's definitely closer to Star Trek than Galaxy Quest. In it's funny, the comedy. I've just rewatched the whole series again, actually, and of course I'm hearing that they're making season 3 and it's all going ahead, but it's definitely less comedic when you watch it the second time. It's got very well defined characters. Whereas, of course, Galaxy Quest, of course, which is what we're focusing on, is more of a comedy, but it's not pure comedy. It's got a sci-fi element as well. It's just a clever blend of different genres of anything.
Yeah, I think what they touched on. I mean, the film's genius. It touched straight on like the. So I remember Patrick Stewart went to see it, you know, and he, in an interview, he said he couldn't believe what he was watching, you know, and he said when he saw them all, it's. Because it's basically the next generation.
Yes,
basically.
yeah.
And they all went to see it, and it was just. I mean, it is the touch in that because some of like the convention circuit. I mean, that's where the core of the film. It starts at a convention with these outer retired actors, like from some sci-fi series. They can't get a job.
Yeah.
And they just that's the
that's it. That's all they're doing. Yeah, you know? Basically. Yeah.
And then they get this like situation of these like aliens that they're more advanced enough, but they're completely naive and stupid.
Yeah, they don't have the emotions to understand, and that's why it was quite funny. Because and I liked there's some really weird characters. Like you had the aliens that are going rack, and there's this weird rock creature that forms together, and and there's the transporter bit where they're worried about being teleported inside out, and they do teleport something inside out. I think it's very cool.
The character I liked, he always makes me stitches. He's a famous actor now. He played, he was in Iron Man actually, Justin Hammer. He was like the extra.
I've seen him in other things. He's quite a short guy with dark hair, isn't he?
He plays that sleazy character, and he were in episode 86, but he died, and they had to convince. He kept freaking out all the time.
Yeah, he was like an extra, wasn't he? And he wanted, and he was terrified of it getting killed off, like because he was like a red shirt from Star Trek. Yeah, that's right.
And that Jill back one, the really laid back engineer goes, "Yes, but you were the comedy relief."
Yeah. But then you think of people like Worf or Bortus and stuff like that, and they are like the comedy relief quite often. So that's quite clever the way they do that. I think it's an excellent film. I'm really glad, and I think that production-wise, it does still look good. It does feel like
it stands out beautifully.
It stands out lovely. The special effects are fantastic. The music, the theme tune's great. I love it when they make the TV show bits, and it's like this like little model of the ship flying along, and it's all sort of corny, a bit like older Star Trek. And then of course at the end of the film it's like the next generation, although it's the same next generation, and it's updated, and the ship's been updated, and it all looks more grand, a bit like Star Trek did when it came back in the 80s on TV.
Yeah, but I mean the message in the film is that they deal with the situation.
Yeah,
because they all at the end of the day they all come through, don't they? Absolutely. And that's what worked for them, wasn't it? It was that. And the ending was spectacular when they crashed at that convention.
Yes, and I remember the Brandon the nerd, and he's like, "Hey, it's Brandon," and he's like, he has to take the rubbish out because his mum says before he goes back to the computer to actually get the maps inside the ship to it, and he's like, he has to take out the rubbish, and he has to get fireworks and launch them from his gun to attract the ship. And there's so many great scenes. I mean, it's brilliant.
You know, when he was like videoing people on his computer, could you do that, Patrick?
I don't know. I hadn't thought about that. I mean, it's common now.
I wondered, could you do that? Because the internet were pretty well. It wasn't like it was today, was it?
Well, I mean, we have enough difficulties as it is right now in 2021. So let alone in 1996. When was it made anyway? When was Galaxy Quest made? Late 90s.
2000, late 90s.
Yeah, so it's quite a long time now.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
And as you say, that's a good point. I thought about that because he has like a video, like a Skype thing with his mates.
It's like a Skype sort of thing, yeah.
But we watched it, and I never thought at the time until you brought it up now that they shouldn't have been able to do that. And that's a good point. That's a very good point. I suppose as they were nerds, maybe they had very high technical end of things back then, but I don't know when.
Probably.
But Skype's,
I remember. I went to an internet cafe in Leeds. They'd opened this big one, and it was £5 for an hour to use.
Oh, internet cafes, yeah. I never used to
Yeah.
try those. I remember there was one near where I used to live, and I used to go by, and it was just like this sort of like room full of screens, those little 4x3
Yeah.
screens.
Yeah.
But of course you don't get those now. It's interesting, isn't it, how it's all changed? And of course, you know, with all that's happened in the last year, that we thank God we've had us doing podcasting and video conferencing and stuff, and you for work and everything else. It's helped to keep us relatively sane, I think, after what we've all been through. But go back to the film. It's an excellent film. I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Do you think they could make a sequel with it? Do you think they could do a sequel?
Well,
even without Alan Rickman?
I think actually, if Alan Rickman was still around, then yes. But because he was, I don't think they can because of the loss of Alan Rickman. I don't think they can. And in some ways, it's a good standalone film.
If you go on Amazon, they made a documentary, a fan-based documentary. It's on Amazon.
Okay, it's worth a look.
It's like What We Leave Behind. It's like that. It's about the whole sort of thing of the film. It's
okay. I'll have to check that out. I love that sort of stuff because it really does.
It's very good.
Yeah, I mean, most of these films do have great especially a lot of stuff is done by fans.
Yeah.
And they're done. I mean, What You Leave Behind was fan based, and it's paid by the fans. Look how good that was with DS9, and of course the Voyager one's coming. I don't know when it's going to be released.
Yeah,
I know they're making it. But yeah, I mean, it's always good. It does give you a different perspective when you sort of see these films that we love, and the way that they describe how it's all put together. So great film. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm really glad that you liked it as much as me. Right, I think that's pretty much it for this show, I think, for today. The reason I'm cutting it off now is because with this new recording thing, I'm always worried it's going to conk out, and I think we still have a 45-minute sort of like duration. So I don't think we've been talking that long, but I think we're probably best to sign off soon. So next week, hopefully Tom's back. What do you fancy? One thing I'd like to review soon, if you don't mind, is how about reviewing the John Carpenter's The Thing? We've not done that yet, and that's a classic.
All right, sorry, me plug came out of my microphone.
That's a blooper. That's great. Let's
get down. I think we need to do Expanse, though, don't we? If Tom's back next week.
We could do. I mean, we focused on it
Or
before.
do you want to leave that for another week?
No, we could. I mean, we did an episode on The Expanse, but this is a review of the entire series, and of course it's contemporary. So, I'll tell you what. Let's do this. If Tom's around next week, we'll do The Expanse where all three of us can chat about it. If he's not, if it's okay with you, we'll do The Thing. So we'll do an Expanse show, even though we've reviewed it before. But this is a season 5 review.
Yes.
And we want to talk about each individual character in an episode. I'd love to do that. I think that's a great idea.
Right. No, it sounds cool to me.
Brilliant. All right. Well, let's leave with a song. Let's leave with The Firm and Star Trekkin across the universe. I know we did. You can't go. We had Doctor Who last week, and it's such a basic song. Brilliant. All right, Martin. Thank you very much. We'll catch you next week on the Solar One. So I can do this now because you can see me. Live long and prosper.
Yes, live long and prosper. Yes.
Catch you next week, guys.
All right. See you next week, buddy. Bye.
Trekking across the universe.
On the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk.
Star trekking across the universe.
Slowly going forward 'cause we can't find reverse. Lieutenant, report. There's Klingons on the It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead.
It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it. Captain.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow, Jim. Starship Captain James T.
Ah, we come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill, man.
It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead.
Well, it's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it. Captain.
There's Klingons on the starboard bow, starboard bow, starboard bow. There's Klingons on the starboard bow. Scrape them off, Jim.
Star trekking across the universe.
On the Starship Enterprise under Captain Kirk.
Star trekking across the universe.
Slowly going forward and things are getting worse. It's just that.
You cannot change the laws of physics. Laws of physics. Laws of physics. You cannot change the laws of physics. Laws of physics, Jim.
Ah, we come in peace, shoot to kill, shoot to kill, shoot to kill. We come in peace, shoot to kill. Scotty, beam me up.
It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. It's worse than that. He's dead, Jim. Dead, Jim. Dead.
Well, it's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, not as we know it. It's life, Jim, but not as we know it, not as we know it, Captain.
There's